Hey guys, welcome back. It's been a little while again, but we're finally getting back into 999. I wanted to do my favorite ending first. So that's where we're going, and if you missed the last stream, we just finished up in the shower room, and I stopped it right after, and I think the ending's not too far after this. So if it ends up being pretty short, we'll keep on going. But for right now, we're going to continue from here.
Let's take a look.
They'd moved a few steps towards the door when Junpei heard the sound of metal on metal.
Huh?
They turned around. Seven was doing something to the door of the shower room.
What are you doing, Seven?
Well, I figure maybe we might want to come back here sometime. So, I stuck the broom in there to keep the door from shutting. Alright, let's go.
With that, he stood up and began walking down the hallway. He brushed past Junpei and kept going. After a moment, the rest of them followed him. Before long, they found themselves at the large iron door. They had only been there for a moment when June spoke up.
Jumpy, look!
Let me double check one last thing, sorry. Just want to make sure. For some reason, YouTube has live chat, disabled by default. And I just wanted to make sure it's enabled. Okay. He turned. There, on the right side of the hallway, was a piece of paper attached to the wall.
What's up?
What's that on the wall there?
Oh, I think it's...
I think it's a piece of paper. Junpei ran over and peeled it off.
a map of the ship's interior?
It says C deck.
So it's the map for this floor then. We'll have time to study it later. Let's keep going for now.
Junpei folded the map and stuffed it into his pocket. Back at the door, the four of them lined up in front of it. Santa stepped forward. He grabbed hold of the door and then turned to look back at the rest of them.
Ready? I'm gonna open it.
They nodded. Santa nodded back and threw the door open. All four of them leapt through.
What the?
You're shitting me.
It took only a moment for them to realize where they were.
We're back.
They'd been there only a short time ago. It was the large hospital room filled with countless beds. Lotus and Clover looked up as they entered. Ace was there as well, although it looked as though he had only just woken up.
Clover! Lotus! And Ace! I'm glad you're all okay.
Hey, with the whole, challenging you to get to the door in time thing, I'm kind of sorry about that, because that was kind of rude.
Lotus? What are you...
The moment they spotted Junpei, Lotus and Clover headed straight for him. As she neared him, Lotus drew back her hand. Yep, and slapped him, open-palmed across the face.
How could you do this to us?
I mean, we came back. Her face was furious. Understandable. She grabbed Junpei by the collar and shook him violently. Clover didn't touch him, but the hate in her eyes was no less potent. It was Seven who stopped them.
Knock it off. We got bigger shit to worry about right now.
His deep voice echoed across the massive room. Lotus glared at Seven, but let Junpei go after one last vicious shake.
What?
Go have a look.
Well, actually don't.
I stuck the
That's
screwdriver
pretty
in
rough.
the door. That door over there, the one without a number. As long as the screwdriver's there, it can't shut, so you can get in there. There's a shower room past there. I stuck a broom at the door there, too. Anyway, go take a look.
Then you're saying we can go in there without passing through the numbered door?
Yeah, that's about the size of it.
Wait, what the hell is in there?
You'll know when you see it.
How about no? Because that sounds pretty awful. Hey, how's it going?
Fine, let's go.
Lotus and Clover looked at one another for a moment, then nodded and stepped through the door. By then, Ace had made his way to them, moving with the stiff, shuffling steps of someone who was only just awoken from a lengthy slumber.
My goodness. I know I said I was sure you'd come back for me. I didn't think it would happen so soon, though.
No, this isn't really a different part. We last ended at the shower screen, or the shower room, and got out of that, and then I stopped. This is like 5 minutes later, basically. Nothing really happened. We just came back into the hospital room. Ace shook his head weakly.
Should I go as well?
Yeah.
Seven nodded.
Very well.
Ace followed Lotus and Clover with a stiff, tired gait. Creepy ship noises. The squeal of tortured metal made Junpei's teeth curl. It sounded like the noise a ghost would make. No matter how many times he heard it, he never got used to it. Every time, it put him on edge. It didn't help that there was a girl nearby who looked far more like a ghost than a living human should. It was Clover. She sat on the edge of the bed, her head drooping listlessly onto her chest. Her eyes were blank and stared across the room at nothing. Her breathing was slow and mechanical. Aside from the rise and fall of her chest, she didn't move. Junpei felt as even a nudge might cause her to shatter into 1,000 pieces.
Snake was probably murdered. Chances are he was killed the same way the Ninth Man was.
Seven lowered his voice, likely in an effort to keep Clover from hearing what he had to say. There were 4 other people in the room with Junpei and Seven. Ace, Santa, June, and Lotus. Seven looked at each one of them in turn and continued.
It's pretty straightforward. Not that hard to figure out how they did it. First, the killers got Snake to authenticate on the red to open door 3. Then they shoved him into it, alone, and waited 9 seconds for the door to shut. Once that door shut, it was all over for Snake, but he didn't give up. He probably knew it wouldn't do him any good, but he probably ran into the shower room looking for the dead. It was a small chance, but it wasn't like he had anything to lose. Unfortunately, it didn't work. The detonator is only deactivated if everybody who authenticated when they went in uses the dead.
Got a lot of emotion there, Snake.
Snake was the only one who went through the door. And then, 81 seconds after he was shoved in, that happened.
I see. So that's what you meant by killers, huh? You need at least 3 people to open one of the numbered doors, including Snake. It wouldn't open for Snake and a single killer.
Yeah. That means we're looking at multiple perps here.
Junpei crossed his arms and grunted.
Well, just in case, I want to make sure. Let's say you're right. When do you think Snake was killed?
When we all split up to look for the parts for the Reds, I think. Right after that was when we noticed he was gone.
Then that means none of us have alibis. We were all off searching the rooms we'd been assigned, looking for those parts.
Yeah. That means anybody could be a killer.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
June seemed shocked.
How can you say that so casually? You're implying that one of us is a killer.
Oh, I mean, yeah. Actually, 2 of us.
Well, not just one of us. If I'm right, then at least 2 of us are murderers.
Why don't you calm down a bit, Seven?
I mean, he seems pretty calm, actually.
What are you going to gain by being so suspicious? That's what Zero wants, you know?
What? Zero wants?
Exactly. This game was set up by Zero, wasn't it? Any game has a winner and loser. Whoever makes it through door 9 is a winner, and those who don't are the losers. Zero is trying to make us fight against one another for that victory.
Then you're saying that Zero is trying to split us up by making us fight each other?
Yes. That is why we can't let ourselves fall prey to suspicion. We have to trust one another and form a strong bond of friendship. Otherwise, we'll end up ensnared by Zero's manipulations.
Then does that mean that the person who killed Snake...
Yes. Almost certainly Zero himself. If there's anyone we should doubt, it should be Zero. He masterminded this game and kidnapped all of us. Doesn't it seem reasonable that he would have killed Snake as well?
Good question.
How much is this game? I'm not sure. It's been a little bit, but I guess I can take a quick look. Looks like it's $30 right now, although it goes on sale. I think I got it on sale. Maybe. It goes on sale, I believe, so it's definitely not a bad price considering it's both this game and the sequel together on Steam. Junpei hadn't really considered that.
If Zero killed Snake, then Zero is on the ship with us.
Junpei, was Zero still in the ship with them? Of course, or Junpei wasn't sure. Probably. Of course he was. That was obvious.
But I don't...
Zero was somewhere on the ship, but Junpei had no idea where. Junpei mumbled to himself, lost in thought.
Where could Zero be hiding?
I mean, presumably he's in some kind of, like, control room, right? Maybe with some kind of camera feeds watching all this? Suddenly, everyone went very quiet. The silence was cold and clammy, and Junpei could feel it crawling across his back and around his throat. Again, he heard the ghosting, moaning noise. Ghosting, moaning noise. I don't know why I had trouble with that. And moments later, a person who looked more ghost than human appeared. It was Clover. She looked at the floor as she spoke, and her voice was a cold monotone.
I think Zero is one of us.
Gasp. It couldn't be. Every human body in the room froze. The only sound was the muffled rustling of breath. Eyes darted from face to face. One of those faces was the face of their jailer. But who? Was he one of them? Well, that's possible. Probably. That's possible.
Well, that's possible.
Huh?
Like Clover said, Zero might be one of us.
What are you saying, Jumpy? Didn't you hear what Ace said?
Exactly. I said we shouldn't suspect one another for no reason.
No reason. I've got a great reason.
And what's that?
The bracelets.
He held out his left arm.
Why are the bombs in our bodies connected to the bracelets? You're all thinking Zero's hiding somewhere watching us, right? If he's doing that, then he could just detonate the bombs by remote control if someone did something they weren't supposed to. It would be a lot more precise and a lot easier. But if that's the case, then why is the bomb set off by the detonator in the bracelet?
You got a point.
I'm not done. Try applying the same ideas to the nonary game. All of the puzzles here run all by themselves. In other words, Zero doesn't have to be controlling them for the game to move forward. Why's that? Why would Zero bother to do something like that?
Probably because he's not sitting around watching us, maybe? Junpei let the question hang in the air and looked at the others. It was Santa who answered.
So let's say you and Clover are right. Zero's one of us. If that's the case, then it'd be really hard for him to keep track of all of us or control anything remotely. That's why all the puzzles run by themselves. That's what you're getting at, right?
Yeah.
Junpei nodded.
7, when we were talking earlier, you said any one of us could be Snake's killer, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Alright then. I've got a question for you, Ace. You said something like Zero must be the one who killed Snake, right?
Yes, something like that. I can't think of any other explanation.
So what do we get if we combine those? They fit together pretty well, I think. Something like this. Whoever killed Snake is Zero. Hence, Zero is one of us. 7 and Ace's theories aren't mutually exclusive. They actually complement each other pretty well.
If you watch this part, if it gets spoiled, I mean, not really. We're still, relatively speaking, pretty early on in the game. This is only the first route in this game I'm at so far. And you could really go, like, there's a true ending that we'll be getting at the end. But other than the true ending, you can basically go any route on your first try. So it's not really spoilers per se, although I guess you could be learning a little bit more in this route. I don't think it's really spoilers though.
At least they do if Zero is one of us.
No one spoke. Their faces were grim, but Junpei wasn't sure if they believed him or not. Finally, Lotus spoke up.
What were his motives?
His motives?
Yes, isn't that pretty important? Why would Zero want to hide as one of us?
Oh, well, that's because,
Junpei choked. He hadn't thought of that, and he had to be honest with himself. He had no idea.
I don't know.
Lotus sighed.
Well, so much for making a persuasive argument, Junpei.
In other words, you only had circumstantial evidence.
I don't really think that's enough to go on, you know?
Ah.
Junpei was painfully aware of their eyes on him, and their disapproval. He tried to find something else, anything else, to look at. Then, in that horrible silence, they heard a bell begin to ring. It was the clock at the central staircase.
It's 3 in the morning.
That means we have 3 hours left.
Then we need to move now. 7, Clover, Junpei, I know how you feel, but you do understand that right now it's important we trust one another, don't you?
You're right, but...
I mean, I feel like you might actually be wrong. Junpei couldn't bring himself to respond. He swallowed the words he wanted to say and sighed. 7 and Clover remained similarly silent. Their eyes were looking at something somewhere else, very far away.
We must go. We have very little time left.
Ace's words put their feet to moving. They all knew where they were going.
Our next destination is Mercury. Here we go.
Yeah, we got a keycard for that last time, I believe. They stood in front of the elevators next to the stairs that led to the casino and the kitchen. Between 2 elevators was a card reader with the Mercury symbol engraved on it. Junpei stood in front of it with the Mercury keycard.
Oh, that's the...
Yeah, I found it in the shower room.
Oh, I see. It's got the Mercury symbol.
He took a deep breath and slid the card through the reader. It made a small beep and the lights on the reader blinked to life.
Now we can go.
7 people, including Junpei, climbed into the elevator. Looks like a coffin in there.
Looks like there's only 2 floor buttons working.
C and bottom.
The rest were destroyed or did nothing when pushed.
Time to head down then.
Junpei hit the bottom button. The door closed. Slowly, they began to move downward. Sometime later, all 7 of them stepped off of the elevator and onto the bottom deck. They stepped off and saw that the hallway to the right ended somewhere between 20 and 25 feet from them. The hallway in front of them was a dead end, but not a regular dead end.
This is a numbered door.
Yeah, it's door 2.
Immediately, they began to discuss who would go through it.
So who should go through the door this time?
We don't need to be discussing who we're leaving behind this time, right?
Right. It's set up so we'll be able to meet up again once we get through the numbered doors.
Then there's no need for arguments at this point.
We should figure out who's going in first.
Very well. Would anyone like to volunteer?
You know, I actually don't remember this part at all, so I might be completely wrong about the ending I thought I was going for.
I'll do it.
The first to speak up was 7.
I'll go too.
And I suppose I need to go too then.
Junpei followed suit, which meant Lotus was, by default, the 3rd member. 5 plus 7 plus 8 equals 20. 2 plus 0 equals 2.
Alright, we're taking off.
Okay, please be careful.
No, actually, I think it is still the ending that I think I'm going for. I'm like very slowly remembering little bits and pieces about this.
Jesus. You two are acting like you're married, you know that?
Oh,
June blushed. So did Junpei.
Don't be silly. Cut it out.
Perhaps in an attempt to hide his emotions, he quickly turned away to pull the lever on the red. I mean, like I said, it doesn't really matter which ending you go for first. There's a true ending, but it is locked off until you get basically all the other endings, if I remember right. So there's not a problem with, going for the wrong ending, so to speak. This is just my favorite one, if I remember right. This is good background music too. The door opened. As they'd come to expect, there appeared to be a short hallway on the other side.
Alright, let's go.
Lotus was the first through the door.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
7 was next, and Junpei brought up the rear.
Where the hell is it this time?
I don't see it!
Oh, there it is! It's right there!
Fortunately, it took them only moments to find the dead. It had been placed just inside the room, right next to the numbered door. They gathered around it and quickly scanned each of their bracelets. Yeah.
It stopped.
Yeah, it stopped.
Yeah, it stopped. Oh, no, nothing from 7. Junpei could feel his heart pounding against the inside of his ribs. 7 and Lotus were breathing hard and fast.
Man, I'll never get used to that.
I'm not sure it's something I'd want to get used to. We should finish this game before imminent death becomes a normal thing.
Damn right.
Alright,
Junpei looked around again.
this hallway's pretty short, but it's got 5 doors. 3 on the left, and only 1 on the right.
Don't forget the last one at the end of the hall.
But it's got a metal plate over it, so I doubt we're gonna get anywhere that way.
The timer is just like you have, after the door closes, you have 81 seconds to get to the, the deactivation device. I think the primary purpose is to give you some time to get there, and if you end up going through a numbered door without everyone deactivating, then you don't get, the 81 seconds is all you get, and then you're dead. After taking a look around the room himself, 7 spoke.
Alright, let's get started. I think we'd probably better split up. You two okay with that?
Yes, no problem.
Sure thing.
Then I'll take this first one.
7 nodded to them and stepped into the room closest to him.
I'll try the one next to it.
At last, Junpei was left alone.
Well, I guess I'd better get started too.
He looked intently at the remaining 3 doors. Wow, I get 3 of them? That's not fair. Seek a way out. Not a lot to look at for a map screen here. It's kind of a hallway. This one's another, I mean, there's a lot of really, you know, kind of chill, relaxing soundtracks for the, or, you know, tracks of this game. And this is another one. Although I would say it's also a little creepy as well. But I like it. This one's fun. Alright, so as previously stated, we have 5 doors. One of them is kind of a metal plate, so I don't think we're going to get much anywhere with that. There's a door in the back. I wonder where it goes. I thought of that, and I tried a couple things, but yeah, same result. Guess 7 wasn't about to do anything. Oh well. The ceiling. Yep, that's the ceiling. So that's the ceiling, huh? I wonder if it's sealing us in. That's the hallway ceiling. Okay, nothing else. Is a bulge in the wall? I don't think I got much else in here, really. Most of what we have to look at in these doors. Emergence. There are a bunch of tiles in the door that spell out emergence. Emergence. Maybe it means we need to emerge out of here. Do we need to do something with these tiles to open the door? Okay. So, can't go that way. So we basically have the 3 doors on the left. Let's start with the one 7's in first. What the hell's this supposed to be? Like a drawing of a whirlpool or something? Well, if I had to guess, I'd say it's trying to look like water. I remember this one, I think this whole escape room, I think this one was a little bit easier for me, if I remember right. It's kind of like a spring. There's a little tile in the drain. Doesn't look like we're going to be able to pull it out of there. Might have to use our heads on this one. Alright, let's figure this thing out. Oh, looks like the water doesn't work. Doesn't matter how much 7 turns that thing. No water's coming out. Has the water been shut off from somewhere else? Alright, I don't think we can do much with this yet. There's a dirty blanket on the bed. Man, this is a mess. It's not even a bed anymore. Can't say I'd want to sleep there. Where are we? What is this? Oh, this oh, so these are like, I think this is the brig or something like that. These aren't crew quarters. This is like for the bad people. The bed's dirty. Alright, back here we have the toilet. The toilet paper tube, huh? I seriously doubt I'm going to need this for anything. Well, this part is thinner than the rest. In fact, this doesn't really look like it's part of the rest of this thing. This rod feels loose. Maybe if I give it a couple of turns. Here we go. Yeah, we got a screwdriver shaft. I'm sure that's important. Hey, this is a screwdriver shaft. It's missing a handle, though. Even if we run in a screw, it fits. We're gonna have a hard time of it without a handle. Well, if we can find a handle, then maybe it'll do us some good. Just thinking about, like, that whole thing that they were talking about earlier, the idea that these are all set up, all these puzzles are set up to basically run automatically, and that Zero isn't required to intervene in any way. The logistics of that have got to be mind-bogglingly difficult. Setting up all these puzzles and ensuring that the stupidest person couldn't possibly ruin them and make them stop working, you know? You don't want to soft lock your your people that you put in your murderous puzzle game, because that would kind of suck. Hey, this handle's pretty loose. Loose? You think it'll come off if you pull on it? It fell off. Huh, look at this. That handle doesn't really fit on the string. Maybe it wasn't meant to be attached to it. We got a handle. I wonder what this could go to. Take a look at this handle. The side of the hole's threaded, like you're supposed to screw something in there. We seen anything that might... screw? Do we have anything like that? So if I just stick this metal rod into the handle... Screwdriver! Thank God it's the right kind of screwdriver for that screw. Awesome. We can totally use this. Damn, the screwdriver looks like a soldering iron. You think it's some sort of industrial grade screwdriver? Guess that doesn't really matter. Anyway, so long as we've got this thing, we can unscrew any Phillips screws we run into. Alright, cool. The string's just hanging there. A symbol on the toilet lid, huh? Seems a little fishy to me. It's a sun symbol, but it doesn't look like the ones on the doors. Dang, this toilet's pretty nasty to begin with. But the inside's even worse. Honestly, I'm amazed you could bring yourself to touch it. Huh. There's way nastier stuff out there in the world than a gross toilet. You're a real deep thinker, aren't you? That's the only voice that I can do. It's a deep man voice. That's every other voice I attempt to do never turns out quite right. Alright, so we got a screwdriver in here. I don't think there's... Oh yeah, I forgot. There's this part over here. The chair's pretty old. If 7 sat on it, it'd probably break. Huh? You say something? Nothing at all. Oh, what the hell? It's not opening. There's something up with this drawer. I don't trust it. Yeah, it looks like it's been screwed down. Sweet, got the screws off. Now we can open the drawer. There's nothing in here. Well, maybe the drawer's what we need. The drawer, huh? Alright, let's yank the thing out. What the heck are we gonna do with the drawer? There's a bump on the back. Oh, there is. Yeah, you're right. I wonder what it's for. Maybe there's a hole somewhere. These bumps line up with it and trigger a hidden switch or something. Hey, we've seen weirder stuff. Doesn't seem that far-fetched. I suppose so. I didn't notice the bumps in the back. I already took the drawer out of this desk. Yeah, I think we're done in here. Alright, so Lotus is gonna be in this room. There's nothing in the drawer. Yeah. Something's not right, though. That handle on that drawer doesn't really fit, you know? It just looks messy. Why don't you take it out? Nothing on this one, although... Is it reflective on the bottom? So there's a mirror on the other side of this drawer. Interesting. It's kind of an odd shape. And it looks like someone attached the handle with a screw after the fact. Can we put this drawer in there? It sounded like something falling. What was that? Oh, that's too base. I heard it too. Let's open the drawer. Hey, there we go. We got a tile. With some colored lines on it. Or actually, that might be 14. Never mind. What is this tile for? Red, blue, gray. Several lines in each color. What does it mean? Your guess is as good as mine. It looks like 14, but it could just be some colors, or Hi, or hell, or some HL, something, I don't know. I don't think there's anything else going on with this desk. This looks like a chair for prisoners. It's rusty, but I don't think it's going to be a lot of help. Isn't that obvious? Look, I don't want to touch anything unless I have to. Lotus is not having this. Does she really not want to be in this room that bad? Alright, we have a towel. Well, it looks like a towel. I have to wonder if the design means anything, though. Maybe you should consider what the design might be. Perhaps that'll give us a hint. It looks like a, like a whirlpool with a river flowing into it, which, interestingly enough, the bed looks cold, pretty sure you'd freeze to death in the winter. No kidding. If I tried to sleep here, my skin would dry out in no time. Well, it's not like you're that young anymore. That shouldn't really matter. My, Junpei. Aren't you lucky? It seems you'll die before you have a chance to grow old and hideous. I'm sorry, you're right. Dry skin is a woman's worst enemy. This bed looked even sadder without the pillow. So, it's still a terrible bed. I'll never sleep on a bed like that. But anyway, so this towel looks like a combo of the two mirrors, that stream and then the whirlpool. This looks just like part of the design in the towel. Do you think that means anything? On the towel, it looks like water is flowing from the river to the spring. Do you think that means we need to make water flow from here? Alright. There's no knob in this faucet. There's no way we can get water out of it like this. If we can find a knob or something that'll work as one, then we should be able to get water to come out of this thing. Well, I think we know where we can get that at. This drain is kind of a weird shape for a drain. You think they made it that shape for a reason? Or just for fun? These sinks, they're on opposite sides of this wall, right? No, it's not just the sinks. Everything is opposite. Like a mirror image. So, that's normal if you're both using the same water pipes, right? That's true, but anyway. Let's see if we can combine this with the towel? No. Can we... Is that a screw? I think that's a screw. We might be able to unscrew the knob. If I use this screwdriver on the screw in the center of the handle, maybe I can... We got the knob. Well, that came off easily enough. It looks like a faucet handle. Yeah, it seemed a little weird to put it on a wooden drawer like this. I'm sure they made it look odd on purpose. With a shape like that, there's only one place it could go. Okay, so we still have the drawer, still with the mirror. If you take the handle off, it's just a big mirror. Usually you'd use a mirror to reflect something, but I can't see how that would help us here. What else can I do with it? Well, it'd be really pretty if we shatter it. Okay. Alright, so let's get that handle on here. Sweet. The handle I got off that drawer fits onto the faucet perfectly. Now I can turn the water on. Junpei, what are you doing? It's pretty obvious, isn't it? I'm running the water. I can see that. I'm asking you why you're just letting it run like that. Think about it, Lotus. This faucet didn't have a knob when we found it, right? What do you mean? Just watch. Any time now. Hey, water's filling up. Doesn't that just mean the pipes are clogged? Whoops, let's turn it off for now. So, did anything change? The water stopped flowing. Thank you, Mr. Obvious. Junpei, I'm leaving this one to you, alright? The sink is filled up with water. Is the Drain clogged. Looks like a lot of the water isn't draining out of the sink. So yeah, I think the water flows from here into the other side. This wall, is this supposed to be some sort of partition? What do they think this is? Privacy is important for these things. Well, it's not like you're going to use it, Lotus. At least the guards couldn't watch you drop a loaf. Heck, it's better than being totally exposed, right? It's just hanging from the wall. Well, if we're pulling the string, then it must be a toilet that flushes. Okay. The paper seems to be pretty old. Ew. How the hell can you touch that? It's horrible. Well, it's not like I've really got a choice, do I? It's not like I want to. Yes, let me touch the toilet paper. Half-used toilet paper. Well, it's old and it's kind of grossing me out, but there's nothing suspicious about it. These walls are really beat up too. Alright, so we have a moon symbol here. A moon? What a filthy, disgusting moon. Yeah, it's pretty filthy, but it's a precious hint. Let's remember it, alright? I refuse to touch this. I refuse. What the hell's wrong with you? I don't want to touch it, ever. Okay. The toilet is disgusting. You don't expect me to touch that thing, do you? If you don't want to, then I'll do it, alright? I mean, do we have to touch it? This toilet is vile. Unsurprisingly, Lotus refuses to go anywhere near it. Okay, so we've got quite a few things. I think we're done in here. Let's check out that third door. It's kind of dark in here, actually. I remember what we do now. It's a sink, but there's no light shining on it. It's hard to be sure because it's so dark here, but I don't think there's anything going on with this sink. This faucet is too hard to turn. The mirror seems really high. In fact, it's so high that it's kind of hard to see your reflection in it. It's a blanket, not a really great one, but still. The light barely enough to see by. It feels like I'm going to see a ghost here or something. Anything else? Nope. I just barely see a mirror from a light coming through the ceiling. Sure would be nice if that mirror was a little lower down. It looks like it's the same height as the mirror on the right. I wonder if that means anything. What's the deal with the lighting here? There's just this one beam of light. The rest of the place is too dark. I can't see anything. There's no way we can explore the rest of this room. Ah, don't be silly. Oh, looks like a dirty toilet, but it's too dark to tell. It says 14 equals E in red. I think I saw 14 in red somewhere else. Was it on something I'm carrying around with me? Yes, of course it is. It's your tile, so... Your tile means E. Somehow. Toilet paper. It's still wide enough for me to know what it is, even in the dark. There's nothing out of the ordinary about it. I can just barely make out the string for the toilet, but I can get a hold of it. Dang it. It kind of pisses me off that I can see it, but I can't touch it. Alright, so I think we need to get our mirror and use it on the light. Oh yeah! We can probably use this mirror to reflect the light. Now I just gotta figure out where to reflect the light. Maybe if I go somewhere that's a little easier to shine light on. So if I shine this light in the mirror in the back. I get it. If I shine light on a mirror, symbols appear. The left side is a sun, and the right has a moon symbol. I'm gonna remember this. I certainly hope so. When I shine light in the mirror in the back. Is that a number? So if I shine a light in this mirror, then I get to see some numbers. I see a 4 on the left and a 7 on the right. 4 and 7. Alright, might want to remember that. I probably won't, but well, if I need to, I'll come back. This is where, even though I didn't actually have it during the Let's Play myself, having my little notepad that I did on the original Let's Play, you know, just on the edge of the screen, in the void between the two DS screens, was really helpful because I could put little notes and little, you know, things like, oh, we have a clue for 47, we have a clue for Sun and Moon. That was a pain in the butt to edit, but that was a lot of fun. Like, I love the finished product of that. Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, I believe the PC port does have a slightly different background music. It's mostly the same, but if you're used to the original one, I know some of the tracks are definitely notably different. I don't know if all the tracks are different, because I remember listening to the music on YouTube one time, and I ended up getting the PC version, and I was like, oh, it must be the same thing. And most of the tracks I didn't notice a difference in, but there was one where I was like, this is weird. But yeah, they definitely changed at least some of the music for the PC version. Or just, you know, remaster, not necessarily PC version. Arg! Dang it, no matter how hard I pull on this thing, it won't budge. Guess I won't be opening this anytime soon. It doesn't look like it's got a keyhole, and there doesn't seem to be anything stopping it. How the hell am I supposed to open it? This desk is old and rusty. There's a simple chair over where the light doesn't shine. Can I use the light beam again? No, I guess not. Anyway, we can go back to the first room. And you'll notice there's water in here. There's water in this room too. What do you mean, this room too? Well, I turned on the faucet in the other room and it looks like it made the water come up through here. So the drain in the other room just runs here. And the water from over there pushed out this tile. Alright, so we have another tile that says 14? These tiles are identical as far as I can tell. If you look at this tile here, see if you look real close, the 3 red lines here are on top of the other ones. The red lines. Yeah. Alright, so we know that 14 equals E. Do these two combine? No, I think I already tried that. Do these two combine? No. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, story time. Junpei put the wet tile into his pocket. He was about to turn away when there was a noise behind him.
What the?
He spun around to see Seven kneeling on the floor. His face was rigid and pale. Droplets of sweat covered his forehead.
Hey, what's going on? Are you okay, man? You're sweating like crazy. Are you all right?
He was concerned. He'd never seen Seven like this before. Slowly, the other man lifted himself to his feet on shaky legs.
Yeah, I'm fine. Just got a little dizzy, that's all.
His face was pale and his breathing was heavy. Sweat was pouring off his face and staining his shirt.
That's definitely more than just a little dizzy. Are you sure? You don't look so good.
Seven didn't answer. Half of his face was twisted as if distorted by extreme pain, and his eyes were glazed. Finally, he spoke.
What am I doing here?
Huh?
His words made no sense.
What are you talking about? We opened the number 2 door and walked in here. Don't tell me you forgot.
No, that's not what I mean.
He shook his head several times, as if trying to clear something from it.
It ain't much, but I think some of my memories came back. I think I've been here before.
Like in prison?
Huh?
I said I've been in this room before.
You were here? When? Why?
Aoi. Light. Nona.
Suddenly, Seven was mumbling to himself. There were words Junpei didn't understand. Seven's hoarse voice trailed off, and Junpei couldn't make out what he'd said.
What the hell was that?
Seven's brow furrowed furiously, and he ground his teeth back and forth.
It's right there. I feel like I'm this close to remembering everything, but I just can't.
Seven stopped, frustrated. He pulled his hat off and ran a hand through his hair. Then suddenly he looked up, his eyes wide.
That's right, an experiment. There was some kind of experiment going on this ship.
An experiment? What sort of experiment?
They were trying to control people. Or something like that.
What the hell are you talking about?
I don't understand. Junpei didn't know what to make of Seven's story. Instead, he simply stared as Seven continued.
Aoi, Light, and Nona. Those were their names. Well, some of them. The kids that were in the experiment, I mean. I think there were 4 or 5 more, but I don't remember all their names. Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm here.
Seven began to mumble to himself and wander aimlessly about the room. He looked confused. So far as Junpei could tell, the man was simply rambling, and there were odd twitches to his movements.
Experiment. Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Those kidnapped kids. Was I working that case?
Seven continued to mumble to himself about things that meant nothing to Junpei.
Huh?
Junpei didn't have any answers for him, of course. He couldn't understand what was happening to Seven. All he could do was wait. After a few minutes, Seven finally stopped.
Wait, under this bed.
He crouched down and looked under the bed. His face registered mild surprise, and he began to mumble to himself again.
The hole's gone? No, maybe it was a different room. There's gotta be a ton of rooms on this boat that look just like this one.
At last, Junpei could contain himself no longer.
Hey, what exactly do you remember? Maybe you could stop talking like a crazy person and tell me what's going on here.
Seven stood up slowly.
Well, it's not like I really remember everything. I've only got bits and pieces, and they're scattered and don't make much sense.
I don't care. Tell me the bits and pieces then.
Junpei could feel it. Whatever Seven had remembered, it was important. Very important.
Okay.
Seven drew a large, muscled hand down across his face. As he wiped the sweat from his brow, he spoke.
From what I can remember, I think I was a cop.
A cop?
Yeah. I was looking for that group of kids that got kidnapped 9 years ago. You remember that?
9 years, you
It was all
say?
over the news.
Yeah, I was still in school. I don't remember all the details, but I do remember some of it. I think it was a bunch of kids right around my age. They all just disappeared. Nobody knew why. It was all over TV and the newspapers every day. So you're saying you were investigating it?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And I guess I found something. There was this medical company called Cradle Pharmaceuticals that had something to do with those kids. After I figured that out, I managed to get some information out of somebody who worked for them. I think it was...
Tonight, a ship is set to take the children to a large passenger liner docked offshore.
Yeah, that had to been it. That's why I went to the wharf.
He looks cool in this one.
In the shadows, I searched the harbor until I found the ship he was talking about. There was a bunch of movement near it. Men in black suits, many of them carrying large bags. Bags. There was something about the way they moved as they were carried. No doubt about it. They were human beings on those bags. I moved before I realized it. I came out of hiding with my gun already in my hand.
Don't move.
I felt metal touch the back of my head.
Drop the gun.
I kept digging the cold metal thing into my skull. There was nothing I could do. Did what he said and laid my gun on the ground. Then suddenly, there was a sharp pain in my neck. A needle.
A drug?
That was my last thought. My face hit cold concrete. I was out like a light after that.
I mean, he looked cool, but he wasn't very cool for very long.
I woke up on a hard floor. Damn it. Shit, my head hurts. Where am I? A small, shabby bed, a dirty sink. A toilet with no privacy. I'd seen it countless times as a cop. I'm in a cell, huh? Facing the toilet was a door set into the wall. I was still pretty woozy, but I made my way over to it. I pushed and pulled on it, but... it won't open. Not like I expected much else. Would be dumb enough to put me in a cell and leave it unlocked. Threw myself against the door a few times, but it wouldn't budge. I knew it. I gave up and made my way back to the bed, and sat down. I sat there for a very, very long time. Who knows how long. Then, I heard a faint voice. The voice was far away. I couldn't understand what it was saying. But I could hear one. It was pretty high, probably a little kid. Oh. No, it was several. I hear 5, or 6, maybe more. Where? Where are they coming from? I pressed my ear to the wall and tried to listen through it. No, that's not it. Left. It's coming from under the bed? I hauled on the metal frame and flipped the thing over. And there it was. The bed had hidden an air vent under it. The hole in the wall was covered by a metal grate. I dropped flat on the floor and peered through the grate. I couldn't see shit. But I knew it in my gut. This was where those voices were coming from. Hold up. Why are there kids here? But then what my inside man told me popped into my head.
Tonight, a ship is set to take the children to a large passenger liner docked offshore.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Am I on that ship? It didn't matter. All I knew was I had to get to those kids. I checked out the metal grate. Could I fit? I stuck my fingers in and grabbed it. And then... Yeah! How do you like that, you son of a bitch? I finally got the damn thing off.
Look at that face.
Sweat was dripping down my face, so I wiped it off and crawled inside.
Man, you were so much cooler than... Junpei waited for 7 to resume his story. The longer he waited, however, the clearer it became that 7 had no intention of doing so. He'd gone silent and simply stared off into the air, his eyes blank.
Hey, what happened after that?
He'd waited long enough, but 7 shook his head.
I don't remember what happens after that. I think I found some kind of door out of the duct. And I think I found some kids, too. Not good. Why can't I remember what happened next?
Ah, man, what happened to the kids, Seven? Did you save them?
I don't know. I don't know if it was me. I've got this feeling. I think one of the kids died. A girl, I think.
Huh?
Deep in his heart, Junpei felt something very cold. Seven's head dropped, and Junpei saw on it a look of sadness, the likes of which he'd never seen on the man before. The large man's eyes blinked rapidly, as if he were fighting back tears, and he swallowed hard. His sigh was like the melancholy setting of an old abandoned building. He shook his head and spoke.
Anyway, just please don't ask me anymore, okay? I really don't remember anything else.
After that, Junpei could hardly try to force any answers out of the other man.
It's fine. Don't push yourself. Going by what he said?
Junpei left Seven to pull himself together, and instead began thinking everything over.
The children who had been kidnapped 9 years before? Apparently a company called Cradle Pharmaceuticals had been behind it all. They'd taken the children to the same ship we're on now. They'd been brought here for an experiment. Seven said it had something to do with controlling human beings. The 16 children who had been kidnapped were the subjects. Seven had said 3 of their names were Aoi, Light, and Nona. I think that's all I got. Oh, and Seven is, or was at some point, a cop. I can't really use any of this information anyway. I didn't learn anything about the Nonary game or Zero. Why were we brought to the same ship where they'd done those experiments 9 years ago? And just what the heck is this about controlling human beings? That's nuts. Did they really conduct an experiment like that?
Before long, Junpei realized that he'd spent quite some time deep in thought.
I don't have time to just stand here thinking. I need to get moving.
Junpei shook his head quickly to clear it, and returned to his investigation, thoughts swirling in his mind. So, I would say that's probably one of her first chunks of background information. Definitely not extremely relevant to what we're doing right now, but definitely very intriguing. And since, like I previously said, I've forgotten a decent chunk of the story, this is actually pretty cool to kind of get back some of the information, but also playing it through a second time, because I never actually played it through more than once. Being able to take, some of my previous knowledge and apply it to stuff earlier on that I didn't quite understand is always kind of a fun thing. Okay, sorry. I totally forgot what we had. So we have the mirror, the towel, and the 2 tiles. I'm not entirely sure what, or if anything, the towel can still be used for. The 2 tiles, I think, might have something to do with this door. Perhaps. And I think we might be done with the mirror? Yeah, I know. It's gotten to the point where I've forgotten enough of the game that I am enjoying playing through it again. Emergence, huh? The tiles we found and the tiles here are the same size. When I touched the tiles in the door, I felt something weird. Huh? I can move these tiles. Then that means maybe if you swap the tiles we got with the tiles on the wall, something will happen. I suppose now we just need to figure out what the strange designs in these tiles mean. At any rate, we should look for all the tiles that are the same size. You're right. Let's meet back here after we've done a thorough search. Okay, so I clearly haven't found them all yet. I don't know what else we can use the mirror for, if anything. I'm not entirely sure what the towel's used for. There were still the numbers on the wall. I believe it was 4 and 7. And then we also had the sun and the moon, which we have yet to use either of those. Hey, how's it going? I can't really remember, but I kind of want to see if there's anywhere else I should be trying to hit. Pipe. Is that important? I don't think so. So we already know about the numbers and the symbols. I don't think there's anything else here. It's weird, I remember not having as much trouble with this last time. Of course, maybe I did. Maybe it was trouble. 14 equals E. We know that. I know, it's so sad because I have legitimately forgotten the solution to this. I know some of the solutions for the other stuff. I feel like I don't know exactly what you would do with this towel unless maybe you use it to absorb water? I feel like it already gave us the hint, which was... Let's see. The drawing in the mirror looks like the part of the design in the towel. And the design in the towel was a river and a spring, right? If the picture in this mirror is a spring and it's talking about the water in the sink. Maybe we make a tile come out the other end if we add water on this side. I don't know. It looks like the river leads into a spring with the towel, but maybe we need to do something more along the lines of make the spring flow into the river. I don't think that's the case, though. Because I feel like that part of the puzzle's done. Hello, yes, it is me. Usually they take away your clues once they've been used to solve a puzzle of some sort. I hate to do it, but I think I might have to look up a solution for this. Because I can't think of what else to do. We have the mirror. I think the reason they let us keep the mirror is so I can re-reference the material if I need. The tiles we need, I want to say there's probably 4, but I'm not sure. I don't know what to do with the towel, though. Yeah, I just have the towel, the drawer without handle, which is the mirror, and these 2 tiles, which I can't do anything with. I'm basically just collecting them at the moment. I feel like the towel's like the clue I need to deal with next. But I don't know what to do with it. I can't do anything with this sink. I'm pretty sure I've seen everything in here. If I really... Yeah, let's use the towel to shine some light around. If I don't know. Yeah, I got the drawer in Lotus's room. That was the mirror drawer with a weird handle on it, and then I replaced it with a different handle, or with a different drawer that allowed it to drop, I think, a tile for me. Can't open that drawer in that room. I don't think I can do anything else with this. Yeah. No, I already took the drawer out. I hate to say it, but I might have to look this one up. I'm a little bit stuck right now. I'm just going to look it up on my phone real quick. Give me one moment. What is this place called? Let me see. Can I see it? Not item. Can I see it on the map? Okay, confinement room. That's what it's called, I believe. Here we go. IGN guide. That can't be bad, right? Sorry. I was trying to avoid doing this, but I also don't want to sit here for 20 minutes clicking on random pieces of crap. Like, oh, that's a ceiling. So the ceiling rate's about a 3.5. Is this guide actually going to work? Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I'm kind of annoyed that that's not a pipe. I tried to click it to see if it was a pipe. Okay, so in the last room where we saw the symbols, there was a sun on the left and a moon on the right. And then when we looked at the other thing, there was a 4 on the left and a 7 on the right. What those are corresponding to are the toilets in these rooms, the one with the sun and the moon on them. And they are how many times we need to pull on this little toilet flusher string. The only thing you can manipulate in this room is that string. Chances are they made this puzzle so someone wouldn't trigger it by accident. Guess I should just keep pulling on this thing in. Alright, here goes. Second pull. Third pull. Fourth pull. Okay. Did you just hear something? I did, but it doesn't look like anything's happened here. Huh, wonder what that sound was. See, that's weird because I remember getting through this puzzle easily enough. Maybe just because this is like a short puzzle room. At least it feels like it is to me. But I don't remember the string thing, and to be honest, I feel like we already dealt with the string thing because of the screwdriver handle, so kind of weird. Anyway, 7 times for this. So this is what the moon symbol was pointing to, huh? They probably made it so that someone wouldn't trigger it by accident. If that's the case, 1, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Kind of a weird puzzle. I'm gonna be honest, like I guess if you literally clicked on literally everything that the game would let you click on, you would figure it out. Because they give you the hint when you go to pull on it, it's like, oh, this is what the so-and-so was referring to. You'd figure it out then. But if you've already clicked on this and nothing happened before, it is a little bit annoying that you have to go back to it later after getting some more information, and then it'll allow you to solve that. Kind of weird. There's that sound again. It happened whenever I pulled that string a couple times. Junpei, did you hear something from the other room? The other room? You mean from the dark room? Okay, let's go check that out. Anyway, I think we're basically done with this puzzle once we go into this room. Tiles, maybe? The sink. Looks like a dirty toilet. Oh no, it's probably the drawer. Yep. Well, this drawer opens easily enough. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, not a huge fan of this puzzle. It's not, like, bad per se. Like, I'm not just sitting here thinking, like, oh, this is an awful puzzle, but it doesn't do nearly as many interesting things as some of the other ones do. It almost feels like it's an excuse to get Seven to talk to us and tell us about his backstory. And so they're like, we'll get Seven in a room with him, and, I don't know, get him in the prison room. Alright, so I believe we have all the tiles, and we now should be able to solve the Very simple puzzle. Okay, well, it looks like we've investigated all the rooms. The only mystery left is that door. Alright, let's crack that mystery then. We've got 4 tiles. And there are a bunch of tiles that are the same size up on the wall here. So if we replace 4 of the tiles on the wall with the ones we've got, that should open the door. Well, there's only one way to find out. Alright, so this very simple puzzle is solved by that toilet that says E equals 14. Well, these are all 14. Right. What's the significance of E equals 14? That's gotta mean something, right? Maybe. Yeah, it's definitely a good game. Like I said, I think it goes on sale sometimes, but even if it didn't, $30 for both this game and its sequel is a great price. I think I paid more than that when I bought it on PS Vita, just for like the second game. I might have not paid more than that, but I probably paid $30. Hey, did you just hear something unlock? Does that mean we've got it right? Yes, it looks like we did. The 14 hidden on the tile. If you convert that to hexadecimal, it's an E. Basically, the E's an emergent, so the 14's from the tiles. So if we replace it, that gives up the answer. So maybe that's what that means, but what does emergence mean? Beyond emerging from the room, perhaps. Of course, Junpei doesn't care. Do you really care why it worked? Let's just get out of here. Yes, let's go. You found it. You know what I just realized? Did they take out that part where... Oh no, it did that thing again. No, wait, no, it's in novel. Did they take out that part where it zooms in on Junpei's eyes when it's like seek a way out? I think they did skip that. Because I don't think that... I'm pretty sure that was in the original, and unless maybe I missed it, I don't know if it's in this one. I'll have to see next time we go to a puzzle room. Or an escape room. They passed through the open door and headed to the next room. Junpei jogged down the short staircase and looked around. Oh, I forgot. I mean, I didn't forget this room. I forgot this room came after that room.
What the hell is this place?
I was completely wrong. Hey, Free, since you're here, I'm going to ask you a quick question, if you happen to remember it. Is this the, am I heading to the submarine? Or am I wrong about that? I don't think that's a spoiler. Not, at least with that language. I know you played it recently, so I thought maybe you'd know. What the hell is this place? The words had sprung unbidden to his lips, but it was clear why. Okay, I thought so. I just thought... Honestly, I kind of forgot the last room happened, and then I forgot this room happened. Not that they happened, but that they happened in this route. The words had sprung unbidden to his lips, but it was clear why. Junpei shivered. Lotus and Seven reached the bottom of the stairs and stopped short, terrified.
Ooh, this room is really creepy.
I think we ought to get the hell out of here now.
He jogged up the stairs on the opposite side of the room and shook the door on the wall next to the catwalk. It didn't open, and he muttered to himself.
Figures.
It's locked, isn't it?
No, I picked, 3 the second time. Because I was pretty sure that led to the submarine.
Yep. I don't know why I thought this wouldn't be any different.
So, what is this room for, anyway?
Junpei looked around the room again.
Well, there's a chair in the center of the room.
Oh, looks uncomfortable to say the least. I'd rather not sit in it if I can avoid it.
Very uncomfortable. The back of it was covered with electrodes connected to a nest of wires.
Looks like it's placed over some kind of glass panel. Too dark to look through it, though.
Junpei turned to look at the right side of the room. Oh. There's a table covered with a piece of cloth.
This isn't dried blood on the tablecloth, is it?
It's ketchup. On top of the table were a number of metal instruments. Junpei didn't know what they were for, and he had a feeling he didn't want to find out.
Oh, what the hell is this? What are these tools for?
That's not something I even want to think about.
Junpei shook his head in an attempt to clear it and tried to focus on something else.
No doubt about it. This room's dangerous. Let's make our search quick so we can solve the puzzle and get the hell out of here. Come on.
So I wasn't actually planning on doing another puzzle room. Yeah, so there is no eye thing. There is no eye thing. I want to look that up really quick, because that's... I remember that being a thing. Hold on. Sorry, music's going to go out for a second. While I tab out, but I'm hoping... Is this it? Let me see. Yeah. Okay, so there's a thing where it zooms in on Junpei's eyes, and then it does seek a way out. They just skip that. Now it's just like that blue background. It's a completely unimportant thing, but that's a weird omission. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. Well, it used to be at the start only, but it doesn't show it at all now. That's a weird omission. Anyway, sorry, completely unimportant because it doesn't matter. But I just think it's a weird one that they wouldn't include. And this room actually reminds me just a little bit of a room in the third game. Not going to spoil it, but just more specifically about this chair in the middle here. All right. So we're clearly in a torture room. We got all sorts of torture instruments. We have an electric chair, a ball and chain over there. We've got torture implements over here. Some springs. I don't know what the springs do, but I'm sure you could do some bad stuff with them. There are a number of ominous-looking tools and instruments here. Let's see. We've got an adze and hammer, a pair of forceps. And these other things are too old and broken. I have no idea what they are. Hey, doesn't this wrench look way too new to be here with all the other stuff? Yes, it does. I didn't notice it before you mentioned it, but it's not rusty at all. Yeah, this music's definitely taken up the creepiness factor a little bit. The last room was kind of chill, but it had a little bit of a, of a chill to it, I should say, a chill up your spine. This room's definitely going for more of the creepy factor, which makes sense. It's a torture room after all. This wrench looks brand new. Considering where we found it, I have to wonder how it was used. Knock it off. I don't want to think about that. You've already seen plenty of things that are a lot more cruel than that. Heh, you're unexpectedly sensitive. Come on, let's not talk about stuff that doesn't matter, okay? We need to find somewhere where we can use this thing. I don't think there's anything else here we need. You don't know. What about those giant screws? I bet those are dangerous. A set of rusty stairs that lead to the door we came through. What, you want to go back, Junpei? I wish solving this puzzle were that easy. Of course. The entrance is locked. It's been like that in every room we've been in. What did you expect? There's no point to try to go back. Let's just think about going forward, alright? Hey, this pipe is connected to that thing over in the corner. I imagine there are electrical wires running through that pipe to the device. A pipe that connects to the device. Come on, Junpei, give me some exclusive pipe text. There are a bunch of pipes up near the ceiling. I don't think there's going to be a puzzle up there. At least I hope not. We can't even reach them. A pipe for something. It runs outside this room somewhere. No pipe. There's a lot of dust on the light. It makes it look like this room hasn't been used in a long time. Hopefully. The cover's bolted on there pretty good. Should be able to get these bolts off with this wrench we just found, though. Sweet, it's open. The hole's too small. You can't see in, even with the cover off. Well, you can't see in, but I think there's enough room to stick your arm in. Are you sure you want to do that? There could be something dangerous in there. Okay. I admit that scares me a little, but we need to see if there's anything useful in there. Oh, I don't know. Alright, here we go. Arm into the hole. Hey, I think I can feel something. It's small, cold, and hard. Doesn't feel like there's anything else in here. Alright, let's see what this thing is. The sun key. The key with the sun symbol on it. We should be able to open the door, the other door of this. Yeah, but we gotta get out of this room before we can do that. And we're probably gonna need the sun key to do that. None of the doors in this room have keys. I bet we gotta use it on something that's not a door. Yeah, I know. I'm not comfortable sticking my arm into a big danger hole in a torture room, because who knows what else is gonna happen. This handrail runs all the way from the entrance. It doesn't go down one side of the stairs. These stairs go to the exit. Okay, not a whole lot here. Can't click the light. I can click the L-shaped pipe and the straight one are both connected to this tank thing. They're pretty big pipes, but that tank is even bigger. I don't think there's anything else for that. This is probably where we're going to be doing most of our investigating. And this isn't a large room, so I think this will be a pretty quick one too. I bet you could really consider the last room and this one kind of almost a continuation. Because you literally, like, walk from one straight into the other. Well, I guess we can't force this one open. Figures. If it was that easy, we wouldn't be having this tough of a time. Well, it isn't. So why don't we just have a tough time of it and figure out a way to open the door? There's nothing suspicious about the lights. They're a little blurry from the dust, but that's about it. Nothing else right here. Well, kind of want to avoid the big danger chair here, but let's keep looking in here. Oh, this is a lot. All the dials are pointing in different directions. Maybe something will happen if we turn them. Ha! Shoot. They're all rusted. Guess turning them doesn't really do anything. The needle on the gauge is at 0. Doesn't look like it's going to move. There are a ton of knobs here. Doesn't seem like any of them do anything, though. Do you think it's broken? Yeah, I can't do anything with that. Red, yellow, you think the colors mean something? No idea. I mean, red looks more dangerous, but other than that. The bottom of this one looks like it's covered in rust. I don't think it'll move at all. These levers have got to turn something on. Of course they would. All they can do is turn something on or off. What's important is what they turn on or off. Don't say the floor is going to suddenly open up. There are a bunch of buttons here with the letters A through F on them. I wonder if they do anything. Down you go. So if I press it again. Back you come. I guess these buttons switch something on or off when you push them. Alright, well, I don't think we can do much of that yet. Oh, I hope I don't have trouble with this room. It's kind of murky down there. What's wrong, Junpei? What are you doing on the floor? Well, I thought maybe if I got down here I could see through the glass. It's not working, though. You don't think it's just a large sheet of glass they put into an indentation? I don't know, I mean, why would they do that? And the placement of the chair. Not making sense, Junpei. What's your point? Well, I'm not sure, but don't you think there's something under the glass? Maybe the glass is one way, like they have a police station, you know? Or maybe it's just covered with something that makes it opaque. It doesn't matter how close I get. I still can't see anything. Echoes when I knock on it, though. Wonder if it's hollow? Okay, can't click on the ball and chain. There's something on the screen. This device will conduct the experiment. Once the experiment has been completed, the door will unlock. First, adjust the switches to match the blocks in the sample above. Huh. I don't know what this thing is, but we gotta figure out this puzzle. It's right next to a torture chair. Whatever it is, I don't think it's good. Anyway, we adjust the switches to match the blocks up on top, right? You adjust the switches shown at the four corners of the screen, then press the check button. Junpei, we don't know what this thing does. You can always come back to it later. There are lots of other things you could do. Oh no, I think I remember having trouble with this one too. What does that do? Does that just give me the answer? Whenever you turn on one of these switches, more blocks show up on the screen. So I think you gotta figure out which buttons you have to press in order to get this screen to match the diagram. Yeah, but it's hard to figure out what button does what. If you want to see how many blocks each switch adds, just turn on one switch. When all of them are off, there aren't any blocks, right? Then you could see how many each switch adds. Oh yeah, I get it. This might be the case where if you keep messing it up, they just tell you the answer. The sun key should fit into the keyhole on these manacles. Alright, sun key, in you go. And yes! Great, they're open. I don't think we're gonna need the sun key again in here, though. Just seems unlikely. Why would you say that? How do you know that? Alright, sun key, you've done your job. Into my pocket with you. Well, they're open. What are you gonna do now? Let's just look around some more. Got a feeling that something will happen. Right. We should try and figure out what the device over in the corner is for at any rate. Oh, okay, let's pull that lever. Is that water? What the hell? What's going on? Will you calm down? It's just water going somewhere. Definitely not going to drown us in here. It sounds like it's underneath us. That means the floor. Oh! Junpei, look! Oh! I can see through the glass now. Oh, it's green. Oh, they changed the solution from the DS on this one? Oh. There are a couple of letters in the color of blood written on the shark's belly. It's dead. Looks like the letters are E, D, B, and F. Whatever these are for is to be in this room somewhere. I wonder what that would be for. E, B, D, and F. What? There's a strange noise coming from the chair. It looks like it's been turned on. I guess the puzzle here was that the power had to be sent in a specific way. Yeah, dog, I don't want to sit in that chair. Let's see if we can figure this out. I don't know. So the hint is, I think, the answer I'm supposed to get. which I think I just got. Okay. That was pretty easy to stumble on. Adjustment is completed. Now proceeding to execution phase. Wait, whoa. To complete the experiment, data must be collected from subject. Once preparations is finished, place subject in chair. Whoa, I thought we solved the puzzle already. What does it mean by preparation? I don't know. I've got a bad feeling about this. I think this means one of us has got to sit in the chair. Well, 7's never going to fit in that thing. It's either you or me, Junpei. Oh. Collecting data. I wonder if it's going to run electricity through the subject. There's a human head on the screen. Maybe it's going to zap the brain with a little electricity? This really doesn't sound safe. Anyway, we've still got to prepare. We can talk about this after we've figured out what it means by preparation, alright? Well, it wants us to prepare, so maybe we ought to ask it what we need to do. The restraining device is unlocked. Please seat subject and device. The message on the screen was disturbingly detached.
Well, like we thought, it's not going to work unless someone sits in it.
How ironic that this would be the situation in which this slim, beautiful body is useful.
Lotus, are you sure? I can sit in it and you can solve.
Junpei's right. If we screw it up...
7 couldn't bring himself to finish the thought. His eyes fell to the floor. Junpei followed them. You're gonna turn into that shark right there. Beneath them was the dead shark floating underneath the glass. Perhaps it had been killed by an electric shock.
I'll be fine. Even if I fall in, the shark is already dead.
But...
No one likes an indecisive man, Junpei. I can still give you advice from the chair too, you know. I just don't want to stay in this room any longer than we have to. Go over to that screen and let's get this over with.
After her words, it made it clear that Lotus would book no argument. She turned and walked towards the chair without hesitation. But she did not sit down. Despite what she had said, she did indeed feel hesitation. Her leg shook.
Look, do you think you could do me one last favor?
Don't say last.
You're making me nervous.
Just listen. If something happens to me, I want you to tell my daughters. Tell them that I loved them very much. No, tell them that I will always love them.
Daughters?
You have kids?
You've got kids?
How could that be?
Yes, I do. I suppose they're about your age, Junpei. They're twins. I had them when I was young after... well, some things happened. Their names are Nona and...
What?
Wait!
Whoa.
Nona?
Junpei's words shot out before he even realized what he was saying. He remembered the story 7 had told him.
Aoi, Light, and Nona. Those were their names. Well, some of them. The kids that were in the experiment.
But what the hell? What's wrong with you?
Lotus took a step back from Junpei.
Oh.
7 looked just as shocked as Junpei. He blinked his eyes rapidly, as if he weren't sure if he was completely awake.
No way, it couldn't. Lotus, is your last name Kashiwabara?
Lotus's eyes went wide.
How do you know that?
Are you serious? What the hell is this? There's no way you're that kid's mom.
That kid? Wait, what do you mean that kid? Why are you acting like you've met her?
7's brow furrowed.
I have.
What?
Yeah, I met one of your kids.
When?
9 years ago.
Where?
On this ship.
Why were you...
It's not a short story.
Look, I don't care how long it is. Tell me, please, what happened here?
Fine, I'll tell you.
And then we sat around for another 10 minutes. 7 glanced at Junpei, then turned back to Lotus and began to speak. It was the same story Junpei had heard only minutes before. Every detail.
But... And then, that was when...
And then...
From there...
And then my face looked stupid.
Looked like...
Yep, and there was my face.
Finally. That's all I remember from 9 years ago.
At last, 7 finished. Lotus shook her head.
Oh my god. Everything I've been looking for the last 9 years. The person who had all the answers was right here.
Looking for?
Yes, that's right. 9 years ago, my daughters disappeared. Then 9 days later, they came back. They never told me what happened to them over those 9 days. I took them to the doctor, but I was told they hadn't been hurt in any way. Still, I was sure that they had been through something terrible. So I couldn't bring myself to force them to talk about it. If I did, then I'd force them to relive whatever horrors they'd been through. I didn't have any choice. I had to try and ignore it and move on.
Oh.
A few months passed. Gradually, they started to act like they always had, before they disappeared. They smiled and made jokes and did all the silly things kids do. It got harder and harder for me to ask them about what happened. How could I ask them to remember that? Eventually, I knew there was no way I could do it. But I'm still a mother. I couldn't simply forget that something terrible had happened to my children. So I decided I would investigate what happened on my own. I would find out what happened during those 9 missing days.
What did you find out?
Nothing. The police pretended to be concerned, but they didn't do anything. Once the 16 children who'd gone missing came back, things were just... Even the media didn't talk about what had happened. I figured someone was probably paying or threatening them to keep their mouths shut.
Cradle Pharmaceuticals. No, probably something even bigger than that.
Cradle Pharmaceuticals.
Have you heard of them before?
No. It's the first time I've ever heard that name. 7. How did you find out that Cradle Pharmaceuticals was connected to the kidnappings in the first place?
I figured finding out whatever the victims had in common would lead me to the culprit. That's what any good cop does.
What did they have in common?
Every single one of the kids who disappeared had gone to this one hospital at some point. The hospital was one of a bunch that were under the control of Cradle Pharmaceuticals. After that, it was just about connecting the dots.
The hospital.
The hospital?
And for a while, I was trying to get some kind of information out of the kids at the hospital. One of them told a weird story.
What was it?
Have you heard about the Gansfeld Experiment?
I probably have, but I've forgotten it.
I guess all these kids had to go through it while they were at the hospital. I think it was passed off as some sort of counseling.
What did you call it again?
Oh, the Gansfeld Experiment. This is how it's set up. First, subjects Q and A are put into separate rooms, far away from one another. Then a series of video images are shown to subject Q, who is told to send the images to subject A by thinking about them. Subject A, on the other hand, is put in a large reclining chair, given a blindfold. With their senses cut off, A is asked to guess what images Q is looking at.
Oh, yes, I've heard of that. It's a famous telepathy experiment, isn't it?
Telepathy. That's how the experiment on this ship was supposed to work.
The experiment to control people, right?
Yeah. I don't know if any of the telepathy stuff really exists, but maybe someone from Cradle Pharmaceuticals bought into it.
Lotus grunted. 7 had been thinking hard for the last several minutes and finally spoke.
Even if that is the case, I still don't get how that has anything to do with any of this. The notary game, 0, why we were kidnapped. What does any of that have to do with telepathy? I know I brought all this up, but I have no idea. Maybe none of this stuff is connected after all.
Then, in that moment of silence, a cold voice echoed down from the ceiling.
No subject has been detected. Unless a subject is detected within 60 seconds, all power will be shut down. System recovery is estimated to take 1 hour. If you wish to proceed with the experiment, please seat subject in the restraining device.
Whoa, that doesn't sound good.
I guess we were talking too much. The story said move it along.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going.
Oh, no, that's not what we...
Just hurry up and get it over with. Junpei, I'm counting on you.
Right.
Don't kill me. Lotus sat down in the chair. Junpei looked at her one last time, then made his way to the monitor.
Lotus,
yeah, isn't that...
please tell me right away if you feel anything weird.
That is oddly specific, isn't it?
You worry too much. Now get on with it and be a man, or June's gonna leave you.
Lotus was putting on the best act she could manage, but her legs were shaking so much that if she hadn't been sitting, she likely would have fallen down.
Lotus.
Failure was not acceptable.
Okay, let's do this.
Junpei took one last deep breath and stared at the monitor. Right, okay. I don't know what that means. Right, okay. So, this is basically looking at this from different angles. Right. Okay, so we have the boxes in the right directions. Or in the right positions, I should say. It's more about having these little arrows appear. Okay. And these have independent, like, things on the side. On each side, I should say. Well, that looks right. Wow. Well, I mean, I guess there's not that many combinations, relatively speaking. There's 3 combinations per quadrant on each side, and I don't know if off really counts as a combination. So there might just be 2 for each quadrant, or each half on each side, so there's not that many options. Are you still alive, Lotus? The experiment is concluded. The door will now unlock. I can hear the door unlocking. And now we've got a new message. Release subject from restraining device. Lotus, are you alright? Yes, I am. I'm glad nothing bad happened, but I do think my life just got a little shorter. Hold on, I'll get you out right away. Shouldn't take long for Seven and me to get her out of here. Let's get out of here now. Being a guinea pig is not for me. I don't ever want to see this thing again. Yeah, it's a pretty short room. Especially if you get the answer right, you know, right away. You found it!
The hallway goes to the left.
Yeah, but I don't see any doors.
Guess we just need to keep going.
Right, let's go.
It turned left twice before they saw the elevator.
An elevator.
Just what we need. Let's take this to C deck.
In silence, they jogged up to it. Junpei pushed the C button. The elevator motor ground away, and before long they found themselves once again on C deck. The door opened and they stepped off.
Huh?
They'd expected to find 4 other people waiting for them. There were none.
No one's here.
Where did they go?
I have no idea.
Lotus shrugged. Something in the pit of Junpei's stomach stirred. He tried to forget the feeling and took off down the long hallway before him.
Hey, Junpei!
We should follow him.
Seven and Lotus followed at a run. They ran and ran and ran. The hallway seemed endless.
I know where we need to go. The door behind the central staircase. There was a sun symbol on the keyhole of that door. And I happen to have the sun key in my pocket right now. This should open that door.
That was why they ran for the central staircase. They'd run for quite some time when they arrived at the door that ended the hallway. Junpei stopped.
All right, time to open this.
He laid his hand on the doorknob, his breathing heavy. Seven laid a hand on his arm.
Hold on a sec there.
Huh?
We don't have the key for this one yet, right?
Oh, there's the Jupiter symbol engraved over the keyhole.
That's...
Oh, it's the Jupiter symbol.
Seven was right. They had no Jupiter key.
Then we can't open this door.
Unfortunately, no, we can't.
Jeez, the sun door's gotta be just on the other side of this, you know? We can't just stop...
Frustrated, he twisted the doorknob. The door opened.
Hey! It opened.
Well, wow, that's the first door that's actually opened for us.
What?
And the others must have found the Jupiter key.
Well, what are we waiting for?
As he spoke, he shoved the door the rest of the way open. They rushed through and stopped cold.
What?
The terrible scene before them made their blood run cold. Oh no! Dead people. 3 people lay dead on the floor, covered in blood.
Why?
Junpei felt a cold sweat trickle down his spine. He couldn't breathe. His leg shook. Sorry, I have to approve messages if it holds them for review. His body felt cold, deathly cold. But his blood was boiling hot. He could feel his mind begin to fade. He couldn't think. He couldn't concentrate. His mind was blank.
What the hell? What the hell happened?
Seven's voice was weak and broken. He edged towards the bodies, his movement stiff.
Clover.
He bent down over Clover and pressed his fingers to her wrist.
Nothing. She's dead.
Suddenly, Lotus moved. Before he understood what was happening, her hand was in Junpei's vest pocket.
Hey, what are you doing?
He leapt back. Lotus looked up at him, terrified.
The key! Get me the sun key!
Why?
Why do you think? We have to get out of here before the murderer comes back!
The murderer?
The murderer? The murderer? Once again, Junpei looked at the dead bodies.
Santa, Clover, and Ace. 3 people, 3 dead bodies. That means that the person who had killed them was...
Oh, no. No, it can't be.
No.
It can't be true.
Give it to me!
Before Junpei could react, Lotus dove back into his pocket and came out with the key.
Let's go!
Without waiting for Seven or Junpei, she ran straight for the central staircase. They followed. Junpei shut his eyes and swallowed his emotions. Morning would have to wait. Yeah, this is the spooky music. Soon, they stood in front of the door.
Open!
Lotus shoved the sun key into the keyhole and twisted it hard. But
Why?
What happened?
Nothing. Nothing happened. I didn't feel it unlock.
Oh no. Is it the wrong key?
I don't know. Maybe.
Lotus sighed, defeated, and leaned against the doorknob. She felt it twist. A small gap appeared between the door and the frame.
It's open.
What the hell is this?
Wait, you mean the door was already unlocked?
Why?
How would I know that? Whatever, let's just go.
Lotus took a deep breath and slowly opened the door the rest of the way. And the dark void beyond greets us. They stepped inside. In front of them was another hallway. It stretched out towards the bow of the ship. They began to run. Faster and faster they ran, trying desperately to reach the end of the hallway. A few seconds later, they were there. In front of them stood a massive metal door. They were all breathing heavily as Junpei spoke.
What the hell is this door? I can't see anything that looks like a doorknob or switch or lever or card reader or anything. How the fuck are we supposed to open this?
We don't have a choice. We're gonna have to go back.
No, I'm not going back there. There is a murderer back there.
There was more stark terror in Lotus's voice than authority. She was almost begging.
But I don't see any other doors.
As she spoke, Seven stepped towards the door in front of them, as if to illustrate that it was the only door. Okay. Motion activated, maybe?
No way.
It opened by itself.
It's an automatic door?
Look, guys, I've got a really bad feeling about all this. The other doors were already unlocked, and this one's automatic. We haven't seen anything like this before.
Bad feeling.
How could their situation possibly get worse? 3 people were already dead.
We've hit bottom. This can't get any worse. Shit!
Hey, Junpei!
He stepped through the door.
I can't take this anymore. No one can.
And whatever hope Junpei had managed to summon disappeared.
No. It's a lie. It's gotta be. This can't be real. No. It's impossible. If it's a dream, just wake up already. Someone please tell me it's all just a joke. I'm imagining things. Yep, that's it. This is all obviously a lie. It's a big, elaborate trick. An illusion or something, or a dream. It's made up.
It wasn't real, right? June. No. The codenames meant nothing now. Connie. Oh. Connie's dead. Junpei cried out and leapt through the door. He flew to her side, his heart like a stone in his chest.
Connie, hang on.
Junpei swept her up and shook her by the shoulder. She moaned and her eyes fluttered open, but only barely.
Connie.
Jumpy?
Her face was pale, and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight at Junpei but saw nothing. Junpei put his hand against the small of her back to hold her up. It felt warm and wet. He lifted his hand up. It was covered in blood.
Oh man. Connie, there's so much blood. What the hell happened to you? How did this happen?
It was all he could do to not break into tears.
Jumpy, I'm sorry.
Her voice was thin, a minuscule thread that was the only thing keeping her with him.
I might not make it.
No way. No way I am going to let you die. I am going to save you. I promise.
Thank you, Jumpy.
How do you plan on doing that, Jumpy?
Thank you so much for everything. I was really happy to see you again, Jumpy. Really happy.
Don't give me that I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more times. You just gotta hang on, all right, Connie? You... Ow, what can I do? Damn it!
He looked up from Connie, desperate for something, anything.
What's that?
Then he saw it. A small submarine.
A submarine? What on earth is a submarine doing here?
No, that didn't matter. Nothing mattered except saving Connie. That was the only thing he wanted.
That's it!
Do you even know how to drive a submarine? Junpei turned his head back to look down at her.
Hang on, all right? There's a submarine over there. I'm gonna go see if it works.
Do you have any idea how to drive a submarine?
No, don't go. Please, don't go. Please, just stay with me, okay? I want to be close to you, Jumpy. When I...
Connie.
Jumpy, did you know you meant a lot to me when we were kids? I've liked you for a long time, Junpei. A really long time.
Junpei's vision had gone blurry. It took him a moment to realize his eyes were filled with tears. He could feel a piercing point of heat deep in his heart, like a white-hot flame.
Jumpy, do you remember how we hung out a lot when we were kids? We went to the pool and to the fair. Do you remember playing snowball at the school? They're all memories I'll never forget.
Unless you're dead.
All of those moments are treasures to me. But I also wanted to go to a lot of other places with you. A lot more. But that won't happen now.
No. I mean, yes. Yes, it will happen. We'll go all sorts of places, Connie. You hear me? I promise. We'll go wherever you want.
Really?
Yeah, really. I swear.
That makes me happy. Really happy.
She said it to herself over and over, a weak smile creasing her tired face.
Jumpy, I feel sleepy.
No, Connie, don't fall asleep.
Thank you, Jumpy. Thank you so much.
Her eyes were slowly closing. Junpei screamed even as he felt his throat go hoarse.
Connie! Connie! Connie!
Time passed. Junpei wept, curled around Connie's body. He cried and he cried until he had no tears left. When the last tear fell, Junpei was no more. His body remained, but only as an empty shell. Somewhere he heard a bell ring. It was the clock at the central staircase. It rang 5 times, then faded.
5 o'clock.
Quietly, gently, softly, He set Connie down on the floor. Slowly, Junpei stood. Only then did he realize that Seven and Lotus had not followed him. Where had they gone? Slowly, he looked around the room. There was nothing. No sign that they had ever been there. It felt as though every part of Junpei's body was made of lead. Slowly, he made his way to the door he'd come through. As he approached it, it opened, sliding apart with a sound like grinding stone. I don't know how she died. Junpei passed through the gate and into the hallway. Oh. His heart rattled in his chest. An empty, lifeless thing. It had been so utterly broken that there was nothing left to feel. When he saw their bodies, he simply stared. It was a lake, a sea of blood. 2 bodies lay in it. There was no need to check. There was no breath left in them. His eyes lit on Lotus' wrist. Her bracelet. It was gone. He stared. It meant nothing to him. He didn't care anymore. He couldn't care anymore. Junpei's body felt numb. A part of him knew the lump of lead in his chest had once been a heart. He couldn't quite remember what it had been for. Tears poured from his eyes in great streams. He wasn't sure why. He gave up trying to make them stop. He turned around. The door opened again and slowly, numbly, he walked through. He kept walking. Why stop? An object set in motion, simple inertia carried him forward. Eventually, he found himself in front of the submarine. His arm reached for the hatch. And presumably slipped and got hit with a bucket of red paint. And then he was floating in water. His eyes stared down into it. He couldn't see the bottom. That's a good comment right there. His back was hot. Dimly, he felt the blade of a knife in it. Who? One dead body lay behind door number 5. The body of the 9th man. Another lay in the shower room. The body of Snake. At the central staircase were 3 more. Ace, Santa, and Clover. Just outside the door were 2 corpses. Those of Seven and Lotus. And in this very room lay the body that had once been Connie. And now Junpei would join them. Who, then, had killed them all? Who? Junpei let out one last breath. Faintly, he felt the bubbles creep up the side of his face. His consciousness faded quickly, dissolving away into the cold, gentle lapping of the water. And that is my favorite ending. It's the submarine ending, and I feel like that's the best, starter ending, you know? There's, like I was saying before, you can go on basically any of the routes, other than the true route, which is, to avoid spoiling, it doesn't let you go on that route until you've completed all of the other routes. Everyone died. Yep. So, there's no real wrong route to take first, but I feel like this is the best one. Because it definitely turns the horror factor and the creepiness factor up to 10. Especially right there at the end. And to be honest, I feel like it's a reflection of your evil actions from earlier. Of trapping everyone else from going into the shower room with the thought that they were going to be locked out. But yeah, so I like this ending, and there's a couple of important things that you can get from this. Yeah, this is the submarine ending. I'm sure I'll show the flowchart in a minute. Oh yeah, no, there's, well, I don't know if you call it a happy ending, but there's a true ending. The end, or is it? I would say it's a relatively speaking happy ending. Sort of. The best you're gonna get in a game like this, anyway. But, yeah, so, you learn some stuff from this if you pay close enough attention, and it actually gets applied later. Anyway. We all die by a yellow submarine. It's not near a yellow submarine, it's by a yellow submarine. You've reached one ending. This game has multiple endings. In order to experience all the endings, you need to play through the game multiple times. Make sure to save your progress now to retain all information you've acquired. Memory of Escape enables you to replay the escape rooms. Yes. Let's save it in save slot 3. Alright. So this is our flowchart of what we've done so far. Novel is any section that's just, not an escape room, basically. It's all of these reading sections. And like any, flowchart in most games, any of these forks are areas where we can make a different, where we can make a decision. If I remember right, I believe most of these are just going to be, do you want to go in this door or this door? So, that was submarine. Whoop. I didn't mean to back up that far. Did this just put me right back at the beginning of the game? I think it did, yeah. That's not what I wanted. I guess you can have this nice background music. So anyway, this first one right here was when we got to choose between the 4 and the 5 doors. I'm not exactly sure which ending I want to do next. I don't think I want to go... I guess we could go back that far. I don't know. This was the 3, 7, and 8 doors, which we chose the 3, but we could go 7 or 8. You can't see my cursor, unfortunately. Sorry about that. I have it turned off because it gets in the way most of the time. As you can see, there's a whole branch here that we never went through. We just completely bypassed it by going for the 3 door. And yeah, once you pick that 3 door, you're locked on that route. You go die in a yellow submarine. Who is the killer? Well, can't really talk about that. That's spoilers. If you watch more of this series or you go and, play it yourself, as you get more of the endings, you'll start to get a better idea of what happened, and then once you get the real end, I believe it gets explained to you, if I'm not mistaken. So you will find out by the end of the game, but at this point, we don't really know much. Clearly, somebody killed everybody here. There's definitely a murder on ship, but as far as we can tell, it can't be any of us, because we found everybody dead. So maybe that theory of one of us being the killers could be wrong, perhaps. But you'll find out more as you play through or watch, this more. I don't know which route we're gonna choose next. I guess next time maybe we could choose between the 4 and the 5 doors. We'll do that next. And then I'll skip ahead to the 3, 7, and 8 doors, and then we can go from there. It looks like one of these choices does lead to the submarine. Like, you can get the submarine again. So maybe we'll do that at some point. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed so far, though. This is one of my favorite games, and it was kind of something that got introduced to me while I was doing Let's Plays, and somebody or multiple somebodies mentioned that it was a good game to play. And it kind of feels like a bit of a gateway drug into good visual novels, as I've said before. And I really enjoy this game, and I'm glad I get to play through it again, especially with this flowchart right here, for example. Original game never had a flowchart. You had to literally start from the beginning of the story and play through it all again. There was some puzzles that you could skip a little bit because if you already knew the answer, you could input them into the input device and it would take your answer. But a lot of these puzzles require certain key cards or certain items, and you have to solve at least part of them. So, you know, you could still... There's some charm to it, but at the same time... I remember when I needed to, like, for example, to get back to the 3, 7, and 8 doors, I had to start from the beginning, play through one of these puzzles, and it was probably like a good 20-minute process to get there. You have a skip feature to skip through text quickly, but it still takes some time of just holding down the, I believe it was like the select button or something like that. Yeah, like the Somnium Files. And I should say the second game has a flow chart, which is very well needed because the second game, in comparison to this, is massive. So, very helpful in the second game, but I do appreciate it here as well. Anyway, I've rambled on a little bit here. I hope you guys are enjoying so far. If this is your first time seeing it, you know, welcome. Like I said, next time we're going to be coming back. I don't have a schedule still. It's just... I have so much going on in my life right now, it's really hard to stick to a schedule. And I try to do about once a week, but sometimes that doesn't happen. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll be back. Like I said, I think we're going to go choose between room 4 and 5. I think we did 5 last time, so we'll choose 4 if that's correct. That'll lead us to the cabins, and I remember liking the cabins, actually. I think it's got good music, too. Not that any of the music's been particularly bad, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time for some more 999, the PC version.